You reach for something because it feels familiar. The name hasn't changed. The packaging still hints at the past. It carries that quiet promise that this is how things used to be. Simple, reliable, normal. And that's exactly why these products don't get questioned. But they should. Because the modern versions of many so-called classics are not the same foods people were eating decades ago. They've been adjusted, refined, rebuilt, and in some cases completely re-engineered to fit modern production. What you're buying now is often a version designed for shelf life, cost efficiency, and consistency, not simplicity. I went through 5 of the most common modern versions of 70s-style foods that people still buy every day. The ones that feel safe, the ones that feel traditional, and what's actually inside them tells a very different story. By the time we get to number 2, you're going to realize just how far these foods have drifted from what they were meant to be. Let's get into it. Number 5, instant mashed potatoes. On the surface, this feels harmless. It's quick, it's convenient, and it still carries that comforting idea of mashed potatoes as a simple, wholesome side. But modern instant mash is not just dehydrated potatoes anymore. Once potatoes are turned into flakes, they lose their natural structure. The moisture balance changes. The way they bind together changes. So manufacturers step in to fix that. Emulsifiers are added to recreate smoothness. Stabilizers help maintain consistency. Flavorings are used to mimic what butter and milk would naturally provide. The result is a product that behaves like mashed potatoes, but only because it's been engineered to do so. And over time, that matters. Real potatoes break down in the body in a predictable way, carrying fiber and nutrients in a form your body recognizes. This version has already been processed before you even cook it. You're not just saving time. You're replacing a simple food with something that has been taken apart and rebuilt to imitate it. Number 4, processed cheese slices. This is one of the most widely accepted changes, and that's what makes it so effective. It melts perfectly. It looks uniform. It fits neatly into sandwiches and burgers. Everything about it feels convenient and controlled. But if you look closely, many of these products are no longer labeled as cheese. They're labeled as processed cheese, or cheese slices. That distinction exists for a reason. Real cheese is created through fermentation and aging. It develops naturally over time. Processed slices, on the other hand, are assembled. Dairy components are combined with emulsifiers, oils, and stabilizing agents to create a product that melts consistently and lasts longer. The structure is different. The nutritional profile is different. Even the way it behaves when heated is controlled and predictable, because it's designed that way. You're not eating a slice cut from a block. You're eating something built to replicate that experience as efficiently as possible. Number 3, tinned spaghetti in tomato sauce. This is where nostalgia does most of the work. It feels unchanged. Open the tin, heat it up, done. It's one of those foods people rarely question because it's been around for so long. But modern versions are carefully stabilized. The sauce often contains added sugars, modified starches, and acidity regulators. These aren't random additions. They're there to maintain a consistent taste and texture over long periods of storage. The pasta itself is softer by design, made to withstand months on a shelf without breaking down. The sauce is balanced to taste the same every single time, regardless of batch or season. And over time, that consistency reshapes expectations, especially for children. A sweeter, softer version of tomato-based food becomes normal. Real tomato sauce starts to taste too sharp, too acidic, not quite right. That's how these products change things. Not instantly, but gradually, through repetition. What feels like a simple convenience ends up influencing how real food is perceived. Number 2, white sliced bread. This is where the shift becomes impossible to ignore once you see it. Because bread is supposed to be basic. Flour, water, yeast, salt. That's it, but modern white sliced bread is heavily refined. The flour used has been stripped of much of its original nutritional content. Then certain elements are added back in controlled amounts to standardize the product. Additives are used to improve softness, extend shelf life, and speed up production. Emulsifiers help maintain that light, airy texture. Preservatives keep the bread from going stale too quickly. The result is something that looks perfect every time. Soft, uniform, easy to slice, but it's no longer the same food people think they're eating. It digests differently. It affects blood sugar more rapidly. And because it's so normalized, people consume it daily without questioning it. It feels like a staple. But it's one of the most altered foods in a modern diet. Number 1. Breaded frozen chicken products. This is the biggest transformation on the list. What people expect is simple. A piece of chicken, coated, cooked, eaten. But many modern versions are made from reformed meat. Chicken that has been mechanically separated, mixed with water, starches, and other additives, then shaped into something that resembles a whole piece. The coating is designed to crisp quickly, often using ingredients that enhance browning. The inside is designed to remain soft and uniform, regardless of cooking method. Everything about it is controlled. The texture, the taste, the appearance, but the natural structure of the meat is gone. And that structure matters. It affects how protein is delivered, how the food is digested, and how satisfying it is. This isn't just convenience. It's reconstruction. And because it looks familiar, because it fits the expectation people already have, it's rarely questioned. So those are the 5. And they all follow the same pattern. Something simple is broken down, altered, and rebuilt to meet modern demands. Longer shelf life, lower cost, greater consistency. And in that process, the original idea of the food is lost. Now, the 2 that are actually worth buying, the ones that still hold on to what made these foods valuable in the first place. Worth buying. Number 2, traditionally made sourdough bread. This is bread in its simplest form: flour, water, salt, and thyme. The fermentation process replaces the need for additives. It develops structure, flavor, and stability naturally. The texture is different, slightly firmer, more complex. The taste is deeper, more balanced. And importantly, the way your body processes it is not the same as ultra-processed white bread. It's not about going backwards. It's about choosing something that hasn't been rebuilt into something else. Worth buying. Number 1, real block cheese. Not slices. Not processed. Just cheese made from milk, cultures, and thyme. When you cut into it, it behaves differently. When you melt it, it doesn't respond in a perfectly uniform way. And that's exactly the point. It hasn't been engineered for consistency. It exists in its natural form. That difference carries through everything: taste, texture, and how it's used by the body. And once you notice it, it's hard to go back. Here's the part most people don't realize. These foods didn't suddenly become like this. The changes happened gradually. Small adjustments over time, each one justified by efficiency, cost, or convenience. And because those changes were slow, people didn't notice them happening. The branding stayed the same. The names stayed the same. The feeling of familiarity stayed the same. But the product itself changed. That's why this works so well. Because people aren't buying what's actually there. They're buying what they believe is there.